At Comics and Comics, we have a segment where we like to give an opinion about something. And if you've ever read any fanboy post on any message board anywhere, you understand why we call this segment, But Let's Face It. Pacific Rim opens this week. I don't know how much I will like it when I see it. I don't know how much money it will make, domestically or overseas. I don't know how to read the tracking numbers nor how much stock, if any, to place in them. But let's face it, there is no reason not to root for Pacific Rim. Robot fans should be on board. Monster fans should be on board. The people who come up with the titles for parody porno films should be on board. Even rival studios should want Pacific Rim to rake it in. And by that, I mean that Hollywood would love nothing more than to be able to make mega hit movies that don't involve huge paychecks for movie stars. Pacific Rim has none of that, and anything that results in rival studio heads of Warner Brothers being able to take Tom Cruise and Will Smith off of their speed dial will make them happy. Not that speed dial is even around anymore. As a fanboy, Guillermo del Toro is as legit as Aragorn's claim to the thrones of Arnor and Gondor. Del Toro seems like a good guy. He seems to care about art. And his passion on this project to try and please a 10-year-old version of himself, as well as a grown-up version of me, seems especially genuine. A studio tentpole movie that comes from original source material is very unusual these days. It involves as much risk as using a Death Star clearance code stolen by Bothan spies. As fans and consumers, we should applaud that risk. Success for movies like Pacific Rim means less of an onslaught of sequels. It means less rebooting. I mean, I'm getting tired of superhero films getting rebooted more than my computer. It is mathematically impossible for Pacific Rim to be sacrilegious. It can't retcon anything. It can't lamely reinvent the way that things have already been established. I mean, if Del Toro wants to have midichlorians in Pacific Rim, we're fine with it. If he wants all of the Jaegers to have been built by a 9-year-old Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine, I'm willing to hear him out. Heck, if he wants to open the film with the 20-minute rave sequence on Zion, that won't go against anything that's already been established. Because nothing's been established yet. Can Pacific Rim have weak story and characters? Sure, but it can't ruin the concept of the Mandarin. It can't make Khan too powerful, and it can't make Superman too emo. Pacific Rim can't pretend that elves fought at the Battle of Helm's Deep. It can't recast M as Judi Dench. It can't ignore current continuity where Spider-Man's brain is actually being occupied by Dr. Octopus. And yes, I'm looking at you, Age of Ultron. Pacific Rim in no way exploits intellectual property that, if all things were fair, should send a piece of the success to the estate of Jack Kirby. I don't know exactly what the climax of Pacific Rim will be, but I know while I'm watching it, I won't be saying, hey, wait a minute, this is where they're supposed to fight the psychic squid. Alan Moore can watch Pacific Rim and say, this story in no way impedes on the vision I had for any of my characters, as much as we know how much non-whining pains him. The enthusiasm for Pacific Rim should be like the training sequence in Rocky II, where Rocky Balboa is running up the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum and is joined by hundreds of kids, pumping their fists and cheering him on. Good luck with this project, Guillermo del Toro, and let's face it, thank you for making a project that in no way denies credit to Bill Finger, and I know you're enough of a fanboy to get that joke.